But
sure we're
Claude
not
can
creating?
nowadays,
you
Claude can do things today. The
No.
images.
Claude can do things?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Uh-huh.
I knew that. I'm kidding, of course. Yeah.
So- okay, you got me for a second.
Yeah, Claude's absolutely, as an example of how wild Claude can do things, I'm updating the community section of my community. I mean, completely ripping out the old community and putting this whole new one in. And Claude Code has been doing all the work for me. But one of the things was I wanted to use a particular community software that I couldn't use because it would mean the members would have to log in twice, and that was not acceptable. So I found a different community system that was really good, but not quite the same as the one I really liked. So what I did is Claude and I installed it, migrated everything, and then I gave it a picture of the community I like and the community I got. And I said, can you change it so that all these different items on this community will now work the same on this community?
Oh.
And Claude said, yes. And off it went and did it.
Uh-huh. Can you go a little bit also compared with Manus? Seems to be that it's kind of, they could do things together, but are actually a little bit different still.
Yeah, well, that's a kind of tricky one because I use Manus a lot for just about everything, but all my websites and my client websites are built with WordPress. And there's a WordPress plugin that enables Claude Code to communicate with WordPress at the deepest level and enables me to be an absolute genius at WordPress overnight, but it doesn't work with Manus. So for everything else, I use Manus, but for when I'm doing stuff, yeah, Ron, that's right, NovaMira. For when I'm doing stuff with WordPress, I'm forced to use Claude, but I actually like Claude a lot.
Uh-huh. But Manus is eating up a lot of tokens, huh?
Not if you use my prompt.
Oh. I say, oh yeah, I remember you did that. Okay, I must have misplaced that one.
That will eat up tokens.
Is anyone else using NovaMira for that here?
No.
No.
No, I'm going to be doing a seminar on it in a week or two because every day it blows me away. Are you using it, Robert?
Can you get it to check your security? I'm about to try it on an old website. Yeah.
Good, do. Yeah, it's fantastic for doing that, for digging deep into the entrails of WordPress and finding every possible security problem and fixing it.
Okay.
Barak says Manus is now back in China. I know the Chinese are trying to stop the Meta acquisition. Whether they'll succeed, we'll see. So have you got updated news, meaning that they have succeeded?
Oh, I don't, but I just was on a webinar with someone that uses Manus quite a bit, and all his agents there and stuff like that actually use that instead of Claude Code, what do we use? And he's like moving away out of that, because they just take it and that's ours and that's it, So
Yeah,
that's
it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because I've seen things where people are talking about how, well, that's all very well for the Chinese to do all this posturing, but there's nothing they can really do about it. But we'll see. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. It'll be a real pity because Manus is such a great tool.
It works with Notion too.
Which Manus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, it is definitely a small group, but that's totally fine because it is a different subject than usual. So let me just get my slides visible. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And this will take a couple of minutes to sort out what Zoom does whenever I share my screen, which is ruin everything. But I'll get it all back in a moment. Ah, look at that. It must not have liked what I said because it shared the wrong screen. So I'm going to try again. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. So now let me put this somewhere else and force it to give me back you guys so I can see you and give me back the chat. There we go. Okay, almost there. I just have to get the chat window back. There it is. Okay. Thank you for your patience during that. It's a pain it makes me go through every time. Okay. So, well, hello, everybody, and thank you and welcome. And thank you very much for coming. And tonight, yes, is absolutely about not having what's been going on for a lot of people. I don't know if you've run into this, but a lot of people have. There's a lot of noise on X about it. A lot of people complaining that they'll do some work, be doing some work in Claude, and then suddenly they get this message saying your usage has gone and you can either come back next week or tomorrow or whenever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no fun if you're in the middle of really building something and you're right in the throes of, and it also knows to do it just when you're so close to having it do exactly what you want. And then it comes in and says, sorry, goodbye. So I started looking into, well, what could we do about this? And I found there was a lot that we can do about it.
Huh.
Yeah.
I went pro. I got the pro version.
Say that again?
I got the pro version. Was it $20 a month?
Yeah, I do too. Okay, I'm going to skip all this stuff about who I am and what I know about AI because you guys all know me.
Yeah, you're Mina.
Right. Okay, so first we're just going to look at some stuff that will be familiar to some of you, and even some of the systems that I found will be familiar to some of you, but some of them won't. And the first thing is we have to understand is tokens. And when it says here, one token equals one word, that's actually not correct. Because how it works is a word like apple might be one token, but a longer word like unbelievable could be 2 or 3 tokens. It's not always a one-to-one relationship with words. And get this, even punctuation counts as eating a token. So you put a period after a sentence, you've eaten up a token. Now, that may not be much in the grand scheme of things, but you'll find out in a minute what is. So here's what's crucial. Now, Ron, you probably know this, and some of the others may know this, but a lot of people don't know this, and I didn't know this, and this is major. And that is that Claude rereads the entire conversation every time.
Yeah.
As you're chatting with it. So the longer the chat and the longer the conversations back and forth, the bigger the pile that Claude has to reread before answering, chewing up your tokens like crazy. So is there a solution to that? Nah. No, I'm joking, there is. And we'll get to the solutions in a minute. But it's kind of like having a conversation where you have to repeat the whole story from the start before each new sentence. And this is why managing your tokens is really important. And so hitting your usage limit it's like there's no warning. Actually, there is. These days they've started giving a little warning, but I actually haven't got it. The warnings don't make sense to me because yesterday I wasn't using any of these tips that we're going to go over tonight. And I did have a thing that said, warning, you're getting near your usage limit. But what was weird is I carried on working for another hour and it kept saying this, that I was getting used to, losing my usage limit, and it never stopped. So I don't know, it doesn't seem to be particularly accurate. But when it does stop, it just stops. It's like, I'm going to stop in a minute, or I'm going to stop in 10 seconds. It just suddenly stops working right at the worst possible point. And so it goes completely quiet until the window resets. So yeah, I'm just scanning this thing. Yeah, exactly. No warnings, just silence. And so each model has what they call a context window, which is essentially its working memory measured in these things that we just discussed called tokens. When the window fills up, Claude can't process any more information, even if you're just a few sentences away from a breakthrough, which somehow I always am. But this isn't really just an inconvenience. It's a hard limit that can halt your progress. So let's look at some immediate solutions, some quick wins, simple habits that you can use starting today. Now, this is one that I didn't know at all. And again, Ron probably knows, but this one most people do not know. And that is, if Claude makes a mistake or doesn't do quite what you want it to do, or if you made a mistake and you want to correct it and change it, don't, because that will eat up more tokens. Instead, click Edit on your original prompt and regenerate it instead of sending a follow-up correction. This trims the conversation and stops the history growing. So I found that to be pretty useful.
There's another one, Tony, which they came out with recently. It's a command rewind that will actually scroll back to an earlier question or an earlier comment that you made. And so it wipes out everything after there. So it takes you back to something earlier. So you're not going to go through everything again, which is similar to what you're saying, but it's slightly different.
Yeah.
Is it slash rewind and then it goes back, or?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not fond of Claude wiping my conversations, and I don't like it when it concatenates them because it loses stuff sometimes. But I'm going to tell you that the main solution to the big reading in a moment, because it's kind of fun. Okay, let's see. Yeah, if you've got 3 questions, send them together, not one at a time. Just doing that will mean that Claude will only load the context once instead of 3 times. Better answers, fewer tokens. Now, another thing to do is, since we know that long chats eat up tokens like crazy, if you actually, after 15 to 20 minutes, just say to Claude, okay, create a summary of everything we've done in this last 20 minutes, and then you bring it into a brand new chat. So it keeps the context, but loses the bloat and saves you a lot of token usage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Did you know that one, Ron?
I did know that one, and I use it quite often.
Good. Excellent. Well, I suspect you're probably going to know all 17.
I don't think I'll know them all.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this one is fairly obvious. Most people do know this one. Use Claude's memory settings to save your role, communication style, and preferences once so that Claude can apply them automatically. People who don't know that end up repeating themselves over and over the next day or the day after or whatever, which is a waste of time and a waste of tokens. Another thing is to don't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. In other words, Claude Haiku is 80% cheaper than Sonnet. Use it for simple tasks. Save Sonnet and Opus for the hard stuff. I had a thing today where I was using, I think it was Sonnet 4.6, and it was a programming thing, and it was having trouble, which it doesn't usually. But I switched up to Opus 4.7 and it fixed it. And then I went back. And if you switch between the different models, you can save a lot of tokens, because obviously the heavy duty models, which you do not need for half of what you're doing, eat up the most tokens.
I see.
Okay. I'm just reading the speaker notes that Manus gave me to see if I've missed anything. He says, yeah, think of it like choosing a car. You wouldn't use a race car for grocery shopping, right?
Well, why
Each
not?
Might.
Pardon?
You might.
That's true, you might. Okay. Don't tend to see too many Lamborghinis in the parking lots of
Publix now.
No. Okay. Yeah. Each model has its own strength and its own cost. So picking the right one means you're not overpaying for features you don't need. So let's take a look. Now, this is something that I found interesting. Not this, this. Every active tool that you have open in Claude is adding tokens to every response. Web search, extended thinking, explore mode. If you're not using them, turn them off. They silently add to every message. So it behooves you to take a look and see which of the various things that are open and active, and if you're not using them, turn them off.
You would see them in setting, I assume.
You know, I'm not actually sure, because I use it in the desktop version, and Ronnie, you're using it in the
VS Code.
VS Code, right?
Mhm.
So Ron sees more than I do. So can you answer Andek's
Well,
question?
there's different commands, and depending on what it is. Have you gone over MCPs with your group?
I have mentioned them from time to time in different contexts, but the group is different every time. So
Yeah, this is a tool that connects to other tools like Google Drive or Gmail or things like that. And sometimes you can set it up for use in Claude Code, and then it just gets turned on every time you use it. So there is a command that you can use, which is /MCPs, and it will tell you which ones are turned on, and those will use a huge amount of resources.
Mhm.
And it gives you the ability to turn them off, and then you can go back in later and turn them back on again. But there's almost always some type of a command in there that you can use to see what resources are being used.
I assume that only works with Windows or Apple, right?
Do you have
I
the,
have a Chromebook.
well, Chromebook, I think, is similar to Windows, so you should still be able to use it in there.
Yeah, no, sometimes they tell me some different stuff, so I'm already thinking I should go back and buy me an Apple, but yeah.
Well, the rule of thumb I stick with is if I'm not sure about something or I want to find out, I ask Claude. So
Yeah.
you can always just ask it. It's like if I want to make sure that web search, extended thinking, explore mode, other resources are turned off, how do I do that? And it'll let you know.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. When I started using Claude Code, I didn't read any or watch any tutorials or manuals or anything. I just asked it every time I had a question, and it would always answer
Mhm.
very well. Yeah, and if you've given Claude your style guide, upload it once and save it in memory. Let me see. Okay, now Claude does give you a solution, and it's up to you whether you like this solution or not. I personally tend to avoid it until absolutely necessary, which so far hasn't become necessary. But you can tell Claude that if you do run over, just charge a bit more so you can continue. So at least it enables you to finish what you were doing before you have to go away. And I've read a lot of people, and I'm not seeing run this, I've read a lot of people talking about how it will shut them down and say they can't come back until tomorrow, and in one case, 7 days, which seems really, really wild. In my case, when it shut down once, it let me come back a couple of hours later. What have you found to be usual?
3 hours.
It depends on what you run over because you have a 5 hour window limit. So within a 5 hour period of time of using it, you have a certain amount of usage. And if you run over, you have to wait until the end of that 5 hour period and then start again. And then you have weekly usage. And so you're granted so much usage during that week. And if you run over on that, then you have to wait until the week is over, unless you have the paying for overage mode. Basically, if you have a credit card and you have a prepaid balance in there, then it doesn't stop you. But early on, I did have that happen. I was really, really working in it. And on Friday, it said, well, come back on Monday at 3 p.m. And I just shifted to use Gemini until then because I didn't feel like paying for it.
Right.
Now I watch my usage very closely because there is a section in Claude settings where you can see where you're at for your 5 hour period and your week-long period. And so I just, there's like things that I'm going to watch as far as training videos. And so I'll work and work and work in Claude until I'm getting close to the limit or at the limit. And then I'll shift to doing the training videos until I can come back again. But what Tony's going over here helps you prevent hitting that. But yes, they will do that. You have a 5 hour limit and you have a weekly limit.
Thank you. Good. And another thing is that timing is everything. And you can use that to your advantage. And we're going to take a look at some aspects of that, which is, as Ron just mentioned, there's this rolling 5 hour window. So don't burn your entire limit in one sitting. Split your work into morning, afternoon, and evening sessions to let the window gradually reset. But there's actually another aspect to this, which is peak hours burn tokens faster. So during US business hours, Claude's usage multipliers are higher. Scheduling is higher. Scheduling heavy tasks in the evening or on weekends stretches your plan further. So if you're really kind of looking to save tokens, you can use timing as another way of doing that.
And I believe the hours that are considered peak hours are East Coast time, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Good to know.
Yeah. So we're going to look now at another area, which is smarter conversations. So you can't manage what you can't measure. So as Ron mentioned earlier, you can use dashboards or Claude's built-in status tools to see exactly where your tokens are going. And awareness alone can change behavior, as it says. So let's see here. Oh, yeah. So asking for an outline before the full document can save a lot of tokens, because if you're telling it to write an entire report in one go, and it's going to use up 5,000 tokens to do it, ask it for a detailed outline first that may only use 100. And then you work from that and, massage it or tweak it until it's exactly what you want. And then you go to whichever model is more appropriate for outlines, which I believe would be one of the cheaper models. And then you do that, and then you hop back for the tough stuff, the heavy programming stuff that Opus 4.7 will gobble up all your tokens for. And having the outline allows you to refine the structure and ensure that Claude is on the right track before it expends a lot of tokens generating the full content, which might not have been on the right track. And you've just wasted 5,000 tokens to get the wrong result. Does that make sense?
Not really.
Okay, what about it doesn't make sense?
I don't. Maybe the wording. If you maybe repeat that. I want all the writing stuff down.
Okay, well, look at it like this. Let's say you want Claude to create a 5,000 word document or a marketing plan or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And it does it using up all those tokens. And you find that, whoa, that wasn't quite what I wanted. Step 6 wouldn't work, etc. But if you get it to do a 100 token outline first, you can see, okay, yeah, this is great, but knock this off, don't do this, add this, and then have it do the full one, knowing that the full one is much more likely to be what you're going after.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, an outline, a summary first, and then the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But then at the end, it would be still 5,000 token, right?
Well, yeah, yes and no. If you did it with one of the cheaper models,
Oh,
because
Heiko.
a document, doesn't need to utilize heavy duty tokenizing.
Okay.
And you can instruct Claude to skip greetings and sign-offs because every one of them gets added to the permanent history thread, costs you time and tokens.
Oh,
And Claude is quite happy to say happy to help and such things.
Happy to help use your tokens.
Exactly. Okay, now this is one I found very useful. Every now and again, it's helpful to show Claude screenshots of something so he can look at them and see what you're talking about. However, a lot of people will do whole screen screenshots. And no. One full screenshot costs 1,300 tokens. A tight crop of just the area you want him to see is typically under 100 tokens. And images persist in the conversation history. So they keep eating up your tokens. Crop them tightly to the relevant area and delete them from the chat once they've served their purpose. I see you taking notes, Ron, on a couple of these points. So a couple of them new.
No, they're great.
Making a list and checking it twice.
That's correct. Oh, I knew there would be some in here. You're very good at finding these things, and I don't necessarily know them all. So this and then the skipping the greetings and sign off so far.
Yeah. Okay. And I love you saying I'm very good at finding this stuff, but it's not me, it's AI. Because I'll tell you what I do, and I'm now going to tell you my terrible innermost darkest secrets here. I see a video on YouTube and I go, whoa, that's a really interesting subject. I'd love to do a seminar on that, but I don't know anything other than what I've just learned in this video. So I go to NotebookLM and I give it the URL of that YouTube video and I say, find me the best 20 current videos on this same subject. And it does, and it puts them into NotebookLM. And then I say, good, now give me a briefing document, all the key points. And then I take that briefing document and I go to Manus and I say, Manus, go through this mess and sort it out, make it understandable, sequence it, and create a presentation. And I have a skill that it knows how to create my slides and how to create my speaker notes. So what used to take me 3 days now takes 20 minutes.
Right.
Very,
very good.
Yeah.
And beautiful slides, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Okay. Now, another one is convert PDFs to plain text before uploading. A single PDF page can cost you 1,500 to 3,000 tokens due to all the formatting stuff that it has built into it. Converting it to plain text first eliminates that overhead entirely.
So I have a
What about
question
Markdown files?
Sorry, what did you say?
What about Markdown MD files?
They're good. They are.
close to the
They're pretty much text files, just with a few extra characters that tell it when to make things bold, and
They're a form of plain text files.
yeah,
Hmm.
way less token heavy than PDFs.
They're lighter. So, did you get your question answered, Barack?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question was, do you have a tool that you use for doing this? I've had to go in and then just copy all of the text, then paste it into a text editor to do that because I don't have a text or a PDF conversion tool that converts PDFs to plain text.
You could easily make one.
And send.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, ask Claude to do that or Manus?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ah. Oh.
And you just gave me a thought, Manus, not Manus, Ron. You just gave me a thought.
Yeah.
I or someone could take all these points and then say to Claude, okay, take into account all these points for minimizing tokens usage and build it into my Claude session every time.
I did that. I got a document from Nate Herc that listed a lot of these, not all of them, obviously, or I wouldn't be writing some down, and fed that into Claude Code. And we did a little back and forth, and now it's part of its operating basis to make sure that we don't do these mistakes.
That's excellent. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that too.
Yep, you were correct. That is a good idea.
Okay. All right. So let's see. This we've kind of looked at or mentioned before, which is use your most powerful model to think and use a cheaper one to do. So use Opus to draft the plan, then switch to Sonnet to execute it. Sonnet inherits Opus's reasoning from the session history at 80% less cost. That's a big less cost.
It's different.
Yeah.
So Opus you would use for research, Sonnet for implementation, and what is for the other one? Haiku
for very, very simple stuff. And in case you don't know what we're talking about, I'm just going to very quickly shove Claude Desktop onto the screen and show you. So you can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so down here in the bottom is where you can switch.
Yeah, the models, yeah.
Oh, I've used 0% of my 5-hour limit. That's good because I've been working in Claude Code all day. Now on the weekly, I've got 52% used. Claude Design, none, because I don't use Claude Design because I'm not impressed with it. But here's where you can switch between Opus, Sonnet, Haiku, and an older Opus, and you can set it for the amount of effort you want them to use, low, medium, or high.
I see.
And you can also enable fast mode, which is faster and probably less accurate.
I see. Wow. Has anyone heard of Cloud Console done by Ole Lehmann?
What was the second word after Claude?
Counsel.
Console?
Yeah, to counsel someone to be
Counsel. Claude
Oh.
Counsel.
Yeah.
I heard about that today.
What
Yeah.
is?
Well, it sets up 5 different, call them characters, advisor. Yeah. So each one has a different view and they have name for each, but I don't remember them now. And they basically sit on the table and compress what you want into an outcome which is probably better than as if you just give it straight to them, if that all makes sense.
It sounds a little bit like the roundtable things.
Yeah. And I added actually 2 council member, one for being a reader and the other one is an editor, but they both are optional. The 5 are always going like back and forth and the other 2 I add to them if I need them.
Got it. Cool. So now we're going to look at tokens as a resource, not just a limit. And we've spoken before about one of the ways to keep the window tidy is to every 20 minutes refresh it with a new chat. And when the context window fills up with old irrelevant history, Claude's reasoning quality drops. Keeping it lean and mean keeps Claude sharp. So, because that context window is where it holds all the information it needs to understand your request and generate a response. If you give it too much or irrelevant information, it's like trying to work at a desk piled high with old papers. And this matters because a clean context window means much more accurate and relevant outputs from Claude. It also helps manage costs, as every bit of information in that window uses up tokens. I know a lot of people who are not, haven't used AI a lot, who will just dump all sorts of rambling long things into Claude or ChatGPT or Manus or Gemini, and then wonder why it starts performing strangely, or tells them that usage limit has come.
Some of the people who are more advanced at the uses of this recommend ending a conversation and going into a new chat window, like you said, doing a summary and then starting a new window before it gets to 60% of the usage of the context window. Because they said they found that, from their experience, that once they get to that point, then it starts to hallucinate more. It starts to lose the memory of some of the things that were earlier on. And so they just have found through their experience that you don't go past 60%.
Now, are you talking about 60% of the 5 hours or 60% of the
60% of the context window.
Hmm.
So it's like, the amount of information that you fill out in that conversation, they recommend don't go beyond 60% of that.
How do you find that? How do you find that number?
At the bottom of the Claude Code window, at least, I'm not sure if it shows it in the desktop app.
Yeah, I'm looking at usually the online one, not the
Yeah, the one that's through VS Code, there will be, there's a couple different things that you can do. Command /context will give you not only how much is being used, but what it's being used by. And that's sometimes where I'll find that certain things are turned on that I didn't want turned on, and I can turn them off. But there's also, when you start getting to about 50%, there's a little circle at the very bottom that you'll see like an orange line that starts at the 12 o'clock spot and goes to the 6 o'clock spot and then starts working its way back up to 12 o'clock. So you can see it there too.
Oh, look, there it is.
Yep.
Context window. So I've used 51%. And this is a really long thing that's going on.
Yep.
Where would you see that?
See all that? That's a lot of stuff.
How do you find that?
It's /context.
Oh, you put that in?
Yeah,
okay.
right there. It
okay.
works really well. That's great. Thanks, Ron. That's a great tip.
Yeah, the other thing that they recommend doing too along those lines is if you're starting a new task that's part of what you're doing, it's like you finish a certain phase of what you're doing in the conversation, and now you're going to start on to like the next part of it. They usually recommend to end off there in that window and start the new part of it in the next window. Because if the next part starts running long, you don't want to be stopping in the middle of it. So that's a way of avoiding that too.
That's great.
So when I use the online one, go to Claude AI on the web, not on my desktop, is there something similar to that?
Well, that's what Tony was just showing, because Tony.
No, but I tried it, and how did you get that, Tony? That was his desktop, though.
Is that the desktop app? Let's see.
You see that he has this 3 option: chat, co-work, and code.
Okay.
This is the desktop, not a URL, not a browser.
Right.
Oh, I see. Because I give it into mine and it says that command /context is a Claude Code /command, not something that runs in this chat interface.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know what I would do, Barack, is I would go in there and say in the desktop app and in the VS Code, if I want to check this, I can use this command / context. What do I do when I'm using it in the browser mode, like you, to find that out? And it should be able to tell you.
Let's ask it right. Let's ask it right now.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. We're able to use the / context command in Claude Code. What can we use that's similar in just general Claude Chat, the online one?
I'm also checking. It
Yeah.
says no, there isn't.
Yeah, but it says the closest options of what you can do.
Right.
They're not great. Workarounds people use. Paste your conversation into a token counter tool, like Platform OpenAI Tokenizer. Gives a ballpark. Use the Anthropic API console. Why Claude Code has it and Chat doesn't? Because Claude Code is a developer tool, so Anthropic exposed the token tracking. The chat interface is consumer focused, and Anthropic has deliberately kept that detail hidden, probably to avoid users obsessing over it.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But if Barack, if you're using Claude Code in the browser, that's probably not the ideal place to use it
No,
in.
I'm not. This is not Claude Code.
Okay,
But
good.
I am building quite complex agents, you can say, or custom bots or custom projects that are quite hefty sometimes with knowledge domain and stuff like that. And sometimes it stops me. It's like, okay, well, you're done. And sometimes, yeah, I did purchase the extra usage tokens because I cannot wait 4 days like you described.
Right,
But this is in a regular Claude, not Claude Code or Cowork or something like that.
right.
This is like the chat one.
Yeah, Claude Chat is not really designed for building.
Right.
Claude Chat is designed for initial discussions about what you want to build. But when you build, especially if you're building agents or you're building apps, something like that, you should be building that in Claude Code.
Well, I'm building instructions, and this is, as you know, this is something that I've done before
Right,
Claude Code
right.
came to fruition and didn't exist. So since I didn't really jump in and learn that, I still have to kind of like define the identity, the purpose, the process, and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and get everything
absolutely.
done.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, that thing I believe I can just feed it afterwards to Claude Code or something like that.
For sure.
You can save it in a markdown document, a text document,
That's
and
cool.
then put that in the project in Claude Code and have
Yeah.
to refer to it.
Like for example, currently I'm building a bot, you can say a software that can do copy editing for books. So I can upload a manuscript, preferably chapter by chapter,
Hmm.
and it speeds up Word document with the track changes of everything as if a copy editor just went through it.
Right.
And I was checking if maybe to do that on Code or Claude Cowork, and it says no, it's better that you'll do that on Claude Project, which is interesting. I didn't think.
Yeah, that is interesting and it's kind of unintuitive.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
it says it's better to put it on a Claude project, and then you upload all the domain knowledge and everything.
Hmm.
It checks it out, and Claude has an option to produce a Word document with track changes. And you
Yeah.
can even specify, I want because when you have track changes or comments, and you can do both, it writes the name of the person that edited so people can go back and forth. So I can say, hey, call the person Tony. And it will just comment and mark things as Tony.
Yep.
So
Now, Just
I didn't get to a point I'm testing it, but that's what I'm building it. But because it has a lot of, like, I need to get it all the grammar knowledge, all the ways you present numbers and this and that and so on. What editors know, right? So
Mhm.
it's quite hefty. I have a lot of data there that I'm
So
working on.
here's what you can do, because I've worked in Claude before I ever got into Claude Code, and I would definitely do a project. You can have multiple chats in the project, and you can ask it to refer to all the other chats and find where you talked about something. But what I would do is I would have a chat, and I know this is very unscientific, but when I would scroll, on the right side, there's that little scroll bar, and you see the box or the rectangle that goes up and down the scroll bar when you scroll up and down the chat. I would just watch the size of it, and when it started to get too small, I would just tell Claude, please summarize everything that we've done so far so I can start another chat. And I'd move to another chat. And the thing is, in a project, it'll remember all the other chats. So it works great. So that was what I did as far as doing it because there really is no other way to tell if you're getting too far along.
Correct. I've never done it, and maybe I should try.
Hmm.
It was nice to have every line being a different project. You know what I mean? Like, let's say I have a bot that builds bot.
Hmm.
Okay, so each line, each conversation is another bot I built. I never had a project like that I kind of like broken it down to several conversations.
Yeah.
I
So
will
that would
try
be
it.
how I'd
Yeah.
recommend it.
Good. Okay. So yeah, this is kind of an expansion of what we've already covered. Let a cheaper AI do the heavy lifting first. Use a free or low-cost models to sift through large documents and find the relevant section. Then feed only that extract to Claude for the final answer. It's just really kind of a viewpoint, a mindset shift of just looking at it from the viewpoint. What's the minimum I can put into Claude to let him really have enough context and really know what I'm talking about and what I need, but without, using all my tokens. So it's kind of like having a junior assistant do the initial sorting before your senior expert dives in. Whoop.
Mhm.
Okay. Right. Well, this is what you did, Ron. When you ran out, you switched to Gemini.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lean, focused context window produces more accurate, more focused answers. And token efficiency and output quality go hand in hand. When I first started using these tools, I didn't know that as you fill them up, they started to get more and more stupid. So it's a good thing to know. Now here's we've covered a lot of different points, but here's kind of a quick cheat sheet summary of maybe the top 10.
Mhm.
So going back to the thing that I had talked about earlier, just to clarify, the rewind is basically used for the edit purpose. As far as, because like when you said, if you reply, it'll just go back and it'll go through the entire chat up to that point and do it again. Rewind is you give it a command and it does something completely different than what you recommended, or it does something and it doesn't work out. What it'll do is it'll give you a chance to go back to that last thing that you did and start from there again without having that and everything after it that didn't work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, and I think you just answered it. So
Hmm.
it just goes back to the previous thing. So
It can go back to, it'll give you a list of all the things where
oh,
you
perfect.
asked, whatever, and it lets you choose. So it's like if you find after two or three that the very third, the thing that was two before was where it got off the rails, it lets you go back to that. And so if you hit enter, I think it should bring up.
Perfect. Wow. Thank you. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
And I definitely could have used this because I got a lot of places where I could go back. Wow, this is great.
Yeah, so that's a more recent thing.
Yeah, I'm going to use this a lot.
Good.
It's great.
Fine.
Okay, so basically with these, start with just 3 of them. You know, edit instead of reply, batch your questions, start a fresh chat every 15 to 20 minutes. Just those 3 will make a big difference to your token usage. However, there's not in this seminar, but in another one, we're going to go quite a bit deeper, but I'm just going to give you a little teaser of where we're going to go, because we can use all these things to make our usage of Claude a lot cheaper because we're not using up so many tokens. But we can go further than that. So if you think of Claude Code as the car, the steering wheel, the dashboard, the controls, the computer, the model that it's using, the AI model, like Claude or Gemini or Qwen or anybody, is the engine under the hood. And Anthropic has made it so that you can actually, with Claude Code, separate it out from its engine, which is a very interesting concept because you can take the power of Claude Code, and you can use it with another much less expensive or even free engine and get remarkably good results. Yeah, you can swap the engine without changing the car. And yeah, these are also Manus images. I think it did a very nice job here.
I like that car.
Yeah. Yeah, you can swap the engine for free because Claude Code separates the car from the engine. You can plug in a different AI model, one that's free or much cheaper, and the car still drives perfectly. And there's a model when you go to the right place, and I'm going to mention it in a moment. There's models from everything, like a rental free. You've got a reliable economy car and you've got the luxury sedans and everything in between. Both will get you there. The question is what you're driving to. And the 2 major free options, one is called Olama. And what this does is it enables you to run Claude Code with whatever model you like on your own computer. Now, there is a drawback. You need at least 12 gigs of VRAM. I haven't personally tried this. You need at least 11 gigs of VRAM. I've got 12, so I could do it, but I haven't tried it personally. But that's one way, because if you're running it on your own computer, you're not eating up tokens at all if you have it set up right. And these are very simple to set up, as I'll show in the next seminar, that you literally 1, 2, 3, and you're set up. Very simple steps. And option 2 is to connect to a massive database of multiple AI models, many of which are cheap. And some of those cheap ones, like Qwen, are fantastically good. I mean, really, really good. And that one's called OpenRouter. And when you utilize OpenRouter, which, as I say, is so easy to set up. In fact, I'll show you very quickly how easy it is to set up by just jumping to a different. Whoop. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is how easy it is to set up OpenRouter. You go to openrouter.ai and create a free account. You add a small amount of credit, say $5, and there's going to be on the page, it'll say, get your API key. You copy that API key and you paste it into Claude Code, and that's it. You're set up. Claude Code is now talking to OpenRouter, enabling you to use Claude Code as the car and whatever engine you want. And like I say, many of them are free. And some of the free ones are not great, but Quen is really great and very, very popular as a result.
Mm.
So any questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a screenshot and then you switched.
Okay, well, I will go back. This one?
This one, thank you.
Tony, Manus locked me out.
What?
It's about 2 weeks now, and it says that my sandbox limit is I'm above my sandbox limit.
That's very bizarre. How did you get into a sandbox?
I have no. Well, I'm trying to build apps, so I got blocked out of I told you I got blocked out of that base 44, and it actually put together a really nice app, but they locked me out for a month. And now Manus has locked me out. It's almost 2 weeks now. And it says I passed my sandbox. It says sandbox usage limit exceeded.
Well, I tell you what, since you can't get into Manus and I can, let me ask Manus what the hell it's talking about. What was that?
That was Barack's daughter, I think.
Oh, it happened just as we entered Manus. I thought, whoa, is this a new Manus?
Maybe there's
All right. So I'm going to say what I think you said, and you can correct me after I say it.
It said sandbox usage limit exceeded.
Okay. A friend of mine who uses Manus a lot got a message saying sandbox limit exceeded. Was that right? Or
Sandbox usage.
sandbox limit exceeded? Is that what you said?
Right, exactly. Mhm.
Jazz?
Yeah, that was it. Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear you until now.
Okay, so yeah, it says sandbox usage
That's
limit
I-
exceeded.
great. I thought there was another word in there. Sandbox usage limit exceeded. And she's now been locked out of Manus for a couple of weeks. What might be going on here? Oh, no. For questions about Manus usage limits, lockouts, billing credits, or the best route is to contact Manus directly at help.manus.im. Since I can't reliably diagnose account-specific limit or access issues here. Well, let's see if ChatGPT has any knowledge of this.
the idea.
Nobody has ever heard of this before?
I haven't. I've been using Manus all along a lot for 6 months.
Well, you know, what's funny is I use Claude just as much as Manus, and it never shuts down on me. Never gives me a problem. And I
Good.
use it a lot, and it never says, "Oh, you exceeded," and I'm on the free.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like when Manus did that to me, I said, "Oh my, what's going on?"
All right. Well, it says in Manus, Sandbox refers to the cloud computer virtual machine Manus spins up to run tasks, browse, write code, create files, deploy things, etc. Manus describes each sandbox as an isolated cloud virtual machine allocated per task with its own browser, file system, network, and software tools. So what this likely means is, one, she exhausted her Manus compute / credit allowance. Manus says credit consumption is based on task complexity and duration, and credits are consumed during the active task processing. Long-running tasks, app building, browser automation, research tasks, code execution, repeated retries and leave it running workflows can burn credits quickly. This is especially likely if she uses Manus quote a lot and has it building apps.
Yeah, and here it
Scraping-
says free plan.
Do you have a free plan or a paid
I
plan?
have a free plan on everything, even on Claude.
Oh,
And Claude
okay.
doesn't give me a problem, and I was doing the same thing on Claude.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm sure the free plan on Manus is part of your issue because it's very limited. The daily refresh credits are limited to 1,500 a month. You know how to look at your credits, right? So you can see what you've used.
I don't know. I go into settings.
Okay, I'll show you because this is kind of important. If you go to settings and then usage and billing, you can see how many credits you have, how many of them are free credits, how many of them are the monthly credits. So I've used up all 12,000 of my monthlies. So now I'm using the free ones. You get 300 a day, and I've used most of them today. And it shows you what each thing used. So you'll be able to see if you're completely out of credits. But there's a, let's see, account.
Well, I'm in it now, and it says free credits, and it's got zeros all over the place. So
Right.
daily refresh is 300 for me.
Okay, well, if you've got 300, you should be able to do
Well,
some.
no, but it's saying I have zero. It says refresh is 300 every day at 1903, but it's not refreshing. So something is wrong.
Okay, it also says daily credits are only usable in Manus 1.6 light mode, not the other modes.
Yeah, I'm in light.
Okay. This could feel like being locked out for weeks if she hit the monthly free limit early in the cycle. Or a task or sandbox got stuck consuming resources because the sandbox is a real cloud environment. A task that keeps running, retries repeatedly, launches processes, etc., or gets stuck in a loop could consume a lot more than expected. Manus recommends reducing repeated attempts, combining instructions, and being more direct because repeated variations can exhaust credits unnecessarily. And 4, it may be a sandbox reset resource issue, not an account ban. It has separate help docs for sandbox issues. And it says inactive sandbox are recycled after 7 days for free users.
Or 21 days for paid.
Yeah, it said it would check your plan level, credits usage are at 0 or daily credits stopped refreshing, which mode or model she's using, any task still running, whether the message appears account-wide or only inside one task. Says the most likely explanation is you ran out of Manus credits or exceeded a free plan monthly compute sandbox quota. Not that you did anything wrong.
Yeah, that's probably what it is because I was,
Yeah.
like I said, I got logged out of the other one, base 44,
Right.
for a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must have seen you coming. They said, oh, this is Jazz, let's lock her out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for all your excellent.
Well, now everybody knows about Sandbox.
Yeah. And thanks to Ron, I learned some good things. Okay, everybody, I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Tony.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. This is great.
Okay, yeah. So you got something from it, despite your
Absolutely.
wealth of knowledge that you have, which is
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah,
Can
I
I
still
ask-
have.
Can I ask everybody, what's the best to use for apps? Anybody have suggestions? Tony, anyone else?
I use Manus for apps. But
Well, I'm blocked out of Manus.
no, well, Ron uses Claude for apps.
Yeah,
and
Claude Code. Right.
Okay.
he's very happy with it, Claude Code.
Yeah, and that's what I'm on now using. I'm doing the same thing on Claude, and it hasn't locked me out. So
Good. Well, I think you just answered your own question.
yeah, right. Yeah, I just thought I'd ask everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question still on the context one. I put it into the desktop version, and then it says, you know, the /context command isn't something I can execute. It's not built in.
Well, are you in code up here?
Oh, no, I don't think I have code because I have a Chromebook. Maybe that's the thing.
Ah, that sounds unusual.
Is it a free version of Claude or a paid version?
I have the Pro.
Should show code then.
Oh, maybe I have, when I put in for Claude Pro, I did it on the web version. Do I have to do it extra for the desktop or?
It's per account. Doesn't matter which version you use. If you have the same account, it should be the paid
Yeah,
version.
yeah, this is the same.
How many people here use WordPress? Ah, that many.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So then I
Oh,
won't
here,
say, I
oh,
won't
here,
say,
code. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
found it?
yeah, it says here code. Okay. All right.
And Tony, you spoke about Canva too, 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not giving it to me yet. It's rolling out because I'm not a lucky person.
Ah, are you on a free account?
No, that actually I paid for and got a deal on that one
Oh, cool.
for the year. It was less than $100 for the year.
Excellent.
But I'm probably going to be the last one that gets 2.0.
Okay, well, thanks again, everybody.
Oh, sorry. It says same answer as a moment ago. Okay, I have to look into that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So unless there's any more questions or comments, I'm going to shut down this meeting.
Thanks,
Thanks a
Tony.
lot.
You again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.